And welcome everybody to Fantasy Football G. We are here to talk about your game week 11. We got a lot to talk about, and I say a lot. So we're going to cover why I have taken out Erling Haaland, and we're also going to cover which Man United assets to actually take. We're also going to cover captaincy, and we're also going to take a look at your best forwards, midfielders, and defenders looking ahead for game week 11, so you guys know who you should be bringing in. So without further ado, let's get into it. All right, guys. Let's get into this discussion. So I wanted to call this the premium discussion because, quite frankly, it is, and I will start the premium discussion with should you take out Haaland or not. So I have removed Haaland, and this discussion isn't to convince you to remove Haaland, not at all, no. But I thought maybe expressing and telling you guys why I took Haaland out would help you make the decision, because I think that's the thing. We all have this fear of removing him, and I think very valid fear, because it's Erling Haaland. He can grow as much as he's in a bad spell. It sort of says all the more that he's going to start to kick back up and start scoring again, but at the same time, that bad spell could still continue. So it's really 50-50. And I think I totally understand for those people who keep him, and I totally understand for the people who get rid of him. I fall on people who do get rid of him, and I actually did this straight after the Champions League game. So why I took out Erling Haaland. The team is in bad shape. They're not performing. He himself is not performing. High XG, but he's missing his chances. He missed the penalty. I haven't seen it, but the mere fact that he didn't put it away for me was enough. And of course, with the previous performances as well. I don't doubt that Erling Haaland in the next few fixtures will get a goal and maybe two. And KDB is also coming around the corner. I think that's definitely going to happen after the international break, but he's going to be eased in himself, But I think the way the team's performing, and I think them missing Rodri as well, it's a huge thing for me to say that, look, dude, I think, Erling Haaland is not really going to be performing the way we want him to perform. And 15 million is a lot, guys. It's really a lot. You could really do a lot with that. And I say that in the sense of, you look at Erling Haaland there, who's 7.5 predicted for this game week. With that money, you could have a Salah in, who's predicted higher, firstly. You can also have a Saka. You could have a Son in, who's also got a great game week. You could even have a Bruno with that. And that covers that 7.5 predicted points. So there's a lot you can do, quite frankly, with that and spread it. And I thought to myself, well, they've been traveling away. Before they were away at Bournemouth, and then they went away to Portugal, and then now they're going to be away into Brighton. And this guy's going to have been played 90 minutes in all those games as well. Brighton would have had a rest from the midweek because they're not playing any midweek games. And they really put up a good performance at their home, at Brighton. So I just feel like it's just going to be another tough game for him, and I don't feel like he's going to be performing necessarily. Like I said, he can get a goal, but I'm not looking for a goal with 15 million. You're looking for at least 2 goals with bonus points, and that's not what we're getting, So for me, that's my decision. That's why I decided, you know what, I'm going to walk away from Haaland. I'm going to go elsewhere. And I think right now, within this premium discussion, Salah is a definite. He's in form. He's doing well. He's been playing at home consecutively. The previous game week when he played against Brighton, they were at home. They played against in the Champions League. Well, they play at home as well to Leverkusen, and they're going to be playing at home to Aston Villa. So they've got, I think, an adequate amount of days in between for rest, and at the same time, there's hardly any traveling. So a lot of things are going in their favor, as well as his performance. Along with that, I think someone we can take a punt on, but we have to really be paying attention to team news. As Son is me playing Ipswich. And I say a punt because straight after this, he's got he's got Man City, which quite frankly isn't necessarily a bad match considering the way that they're performing and the fact that they also beat them just recently in the cup. So he's a punt necessarily for this week, and if you also wanted to carry him over into the next weekend, but I think by that time you want to bring on the next premium who's not here, which is Cole Palmer, which is someone we have to mention because he has been flagged for an injury. Now he has gone for a scan, and we haven't heard anything about the results of that scan yet, or the level of that injury. So I think we just have to keep our ears open. And as soon as I hear something, of course, I'll let you guys know in the next video, which will be the team reveal. So yeah, that's someone we definitely have to keep an eye on, but he's not someone we're going to be bringing in right now, but most likely next week. So we don't have to worry about that. Saka is playing against them, Chelsea, and I think after this, they got probably like one fixture of people in the top 12, and then like after game week 12 or 13, they've played everybody, quite frankly, in the top half of the table. They basically will be playing the bottom half of the table. So I think Saka is definitely another asset that we could be thinking about bringing in from game week 12 in the premium discussion, having made money from taking out Erling Haaland. But yeah, that's the premium discussion, guys. Let me move on to the midfield and specifically focus on Man United because their fixtures turn. And I think Ruud van Nistelrooy has shown that he's really been able to create opportunities for the team in their attacking. The thing is that they're just not putting them away. So what I did here is I organized the gentlemen here from game week 11 to game week 13, where they have Leicester, they have Everton, and they also have Ipswich. So in that time, Bruno and Garnacho are sitting up top, Haaland as number 3 in predicted points. And I think Bruno and Garnacho are not necessarily far off. Haaland is about like 3 points behind, about 3 points behind, but then Rashford, you can see, drops from about like 4 points behind Garnacho and Bruno. So I feel like for me, he's definitely not an option when it comes to the attacking options at all. I think if you want to go for attacking guys, it's definitely a Garnacho and Bruno, and I feel like the opportunities are definitely falling at Garnacho's feet. Bruno's definitely the one who's even giving him those options as well. But he himself is also getting those options on set pieces and everything. Whether you should go for them or not, I think that's your decision, because right now I'm in the position where I feel like I've been having consecutive red arrows, and I just had a green arrow, thank God. But I want to be bringing in people who have been performing and have good fixtures, too, both, but mostly performing, because I've noticed that form is the way to go. Form is like the way to go right now. But I do think because of the turn of events with the Ruud van Nistelrooy coming in, and also the fact that there's going to be this new manager bounce straight after in this row of good fixtures as well, I feel like this is a punt I think you can definitely take on a Bruno, somebody we know who has pedigree in FPL. And I think you're taking a major punt when it's on Garnacho as well. So that's what I mean. I think it's your decision if you want to go there. On the defense, I think you can only really look at the top 4 guys: Martinez, De Ligt, Masraoui, and Dalot. I like Dalot. I think he's on 4 yellow cards, I think. Don't take my word for it. I like Dalot. He himself is predicted to be top, followed by Masraoui and then De Ligt in terms of predicted points between this fixture turn. And then Martinez left. Oh, sorry, it is Martinez who's actually on 4 yellow cards. So I wouldn't consider him, although he is the cheaper option between all of them, with Dalot at 5, Martinez all the way down at 4.4. Yeah, I think Dalot, De Ligt as well is a nice option in terms of attack. When it comes to the corners, he is a bit of a threat. So if you are looking for a defensive asset in Man United, then you can definitely go for them. Or Onana, who's also a very nice option, quite frankly. So I think that's really your guys' choice. Think about that, and you can make a decision on that. Now, the most important part of the show is the part where you guys, please, I've seen that around 70% of you guys are fairly new and not subscribed. And I really appreciate you guys just tuning in. But I do this content weekly. So if you're really looking for some weekly content on FPL and you love what I've just given you right now, then please hit the subscribe button. And of course, like it just to let me know, Kat, you're doing a great job. And I'd really appreciate it. And I'll keep bringing you guys more content. And that is coming from the bottom of my heart. Please, guys, subscribe. I'm really trying to reach 200 at the moment. Small steps. We'll get to the bigger leagues when we get there. But yeah, cool. On to the defense. Now, I think Guardiola's a good discussion because right now City's looking like they are going to concede. And, it's a question as whether or not we can be spending 6.2 on a defender like Guardiola. The thing is, he keeps returning. He's getting a goal here and he's getting an assist there. So he's somewhat making it back. And we all know that clean sheets are very rare right now in the Premier League. So, you could be walking away with at least about like a 5 points, which is very close to actually 6 points because it would be 2 goals with that assist. And maybe that assist could be to that 2-1 win, and he could end up getting those bonus points as well. Highly doubt it because he would have conceded. But anyway, I think right now he's just a bit too much money for me on my end. But I think if I wanted to do a sort of like a set and forget, I would invest in him more than any other City defender right now, just knowing that there's a possibility of a clean sheet. And I think I can also get a high likely chance of actually getting a return as well. So that's where I stand with Guardiola. Trent is really here more in the discussion whether or not you should be releasing some money from him and putting it into the defense. I think that there's so much, there's cheaper options like 8 Nuri if you want to go for them as well. There's even Konate. And another one to mention as well is also Tsimikas, who's really been making some good appearances, even made in the Champions League, following one appearance in the league, a start in the league as well. So I think there's a slow progression from Robinson to Tsimikas in the left-hand side. And, Honest Slot's comments on that were the fact that he's playing a lot more now because Robertson didn't have a good preseason with them, quite frankly, because he had gone to an international tournament and then came back and had a break as well. So I think Tsimikas also, while being in, has definitely shown he can keep a clean sheet with the guys, and he's one to definitely consider. So if you want to go down from Trent, I would start off with a Konate. If you want to, double up there, then you can definitely look at Tsimikas. But then before him, I'd go for an 8 Nuri. I think Pedro Porro really is just a highlight that, they've got an Ipswich game. Hopefully this is one of those games they can actually keep a clean sheet in. So he's someone you can definitely keep in or go for if you do have that wild card and you want to actually play that wild card in Game Week 12. Then Pedro Porro is definitely somebody to go in for. I think RK for me was here just to mention that he's back, and we've seen him rotate now with Guardiola. And Guardiola was actually the one starting in the Premier League. And that's another reason why I wanted to just say, I'm not sure really if it's worth that 6.2 million and you have RK at 5.3 and there's that rotation as well. Maybe you might even just think, I might as well just go for Lewis if we're counting on City's defense. But just to look out for RK as well and the rotation there with Guardiola, on my opinion, quite frankly. But yeah, I think that really touches on the defense. I mean, apart from the obvious stuff like an Arsenal defense and all of that stuff like that. Right now, even the Lascelles I'd stay away from just because of the performance. Odegaard was pictured back in the training, which is really great. That means he's very close. I think he'll definitely be back after the international break. I think that's when Arsenal's fixtures turn for the good. And I think if Arteta's pushing him, he might make a surprise appearance at Chelsea. And I think with Odegaard in the team, it gives Arsenal a way out in the sense of defense because, Pep Guardiola said this, that you're also defending when you have the ball because essentially you're trying to make sure that the other team doesn't have the ball. And when they don't have the ball, quite frankly, they can't score. So it is a form of defense. And I think with Odegaard, we are much stronger on the ball, with the ball, keeping the ball, and even scoring as well. So yeah, I think Arsenal defense are people definitely to bring in that next game week if you don't have double Arsenal defense. So that's the defense there. Now, going into the forwards, you saw I had Chris Wood earlier on there, and it was really earlier on in the premium discussion there, but that was because his points predicted were very high, and this is the points predicted for this game week. He is a man on fire, quite frankly. Look, like I said, I'm one who's going more for performance first and then fixtures. But if I can get both, even better. And right now, Wood he's got fixtures for him. He's got fixtures going. I mean, not fixtures, form going for him. And I think every season there's that guy. There's that guy who's scoring week in, week out, and we like, not gonna get him. He's not gonna keep it up. He scores. He's not gonna get him. Not gonna keep it up. And he scores. And I feel like that's Wood. And I painfully took him out just before he started scoring for Calvert-Lewin. So you can imagine my pain. But I think if you want to go for someone who's in form, go for Chris Wood. The fixtures aren't necessarily all that great, in my opinion. I think they got Arsenal coming up next. But knowing Arsenal's defense, haven't been that, the way they have been performing, I think Chris Wood could definitely walk away with something. Even with Odegaard being there as well, sometimes Arsenal can be shaky. So yeah, that's my opinion on Wood. I think with Solanke, it's the same thing as I was mentioning with Son, is that the fact that, he's playing Ipswich. He had a good performance in the last few minutes of the game, which got him those returns. But he's a punt really for me because previously he just hasn't been performing the way everybody was expecting him to perform in this good run of fixtures. Will he perform against Ipswich? I think he definitely can. It's Ipswich. I think the previous games went hard, but he just wasn't there. I think it's your decision. You're taking a punt, but you have to highlight him because he's predicted very much the high points as Wood. So I think you can think about it. Cunha is for me a definite person to bring in because of the good row of fixtures, and of course he's got a great fixture with Southampton at home. He's mostly the person considered to have that swap with Erling Haaland, just to free up that money, really free up that money. His price went up last night, and that's why I brought him in for Haaland, because I knew his price was going to go up. So I think Cunha is definitely a set and forget, and just being able to play him in as well. Then there's Isak, who's got Nottingham Forest, and I think based on the team's difficulty levels together, I think it's a 50-50 game. Newcastle have shown that they can definitely stand up toe-to-toe with any of the big teams. And with the mid-table teams as well, they can put them away. It just really depends on who's throwing up that down for Newcastle. And I think Isak, for me, I wanted to highlight that he's got a really great row of fixtures coming up. In this next 7, I feel like the two who really are a challenge is just Arsenal and Nottingham Forest. Apart from that, he's got really great row of fixtures. So that's 5 out of 7 that are really great. So I feel like right now he's not the talk of the town, but I think don't be surprised if he's scoring again, and he scored previously now with Arsenal. And then people start talking about his fixtures, going like, hey, Isak. I think the reason why we're not talking about him is because, as you can see, he's the highest priced striker over there. So you know that you can get better and cheaper options. But just highlighting fixtures, I think it's about monitoring his form and seeing whether or not he's somebody worth bringing in for that amount of money, because Jackson himself as well, who I think is about probably like 0.2 mil cheaper or just below him, and his fixtures are going to be turning for Chelsea. So he's someone that we're definitely going to be wanting to bring in around that price point. And we know whose team is really ticking off very well. Then there's Wisa, who's a very, very good cheap option, the cheapest option here. Got some good fixtures in this game week and all the way to game week 13, so the next 3 games. So if you're looking for a bit of a differential, he's someone you can definitely bring in as well. Ownership at 5.7. He did blank in this previous game week. But I have faith in Wisa and the attack of Brentford as well. So I think as long as Mbeumo's there, then they can definitely take, that's something that can really, really work out for them as well. So yeah, those are my attacking options, of course, besides the Erling Haaland discussion. And now to do a very quick, good recap of my game week. I got my first green arrow since like game week 2, which is very concerning. So I'm very happy. I've maintained my position really in the league, the the Fantasy Football G League. Kevin Dallas is still at the top. With that said, I have to say this, Kevin, I haven't formally invited you. You are invited, of course, to the channel. So again, guys, anytime somebody becomes number 1, I always invite them onto the channel to just talk FPL, how their season's going, what are they looking, what are they planning to do, what's their goals, how are they thinking as well, so we can really all learn from each other. And again, you don't have to, you can decline the interview. A lot of people are camera shy, which is totally understand that. And some people also don't want to share what they, how they think and what they do and stuff like that. I totally get that as well. Really just trying to build a very nice community, which actually knows each other. So when we're looking at a name, we're like, oh man, that damn Dallas Dominators, you sort of know who you're talking about. It's like, he's good. He's good. He knows what he's talking about. He knows what he's talking about. Like, I got to watch out, very cool. And we all know who we're talking about and stuff. But yeah, Dallas Dominators at number 1, holding the position very well. Took a -8, but it still worked out for him. And then the soft rippling stream moving up 3 places down. My man, Joseph Robinson. No, dog. You've been climbing. You've had some tough ass weeks. But yeah, dog, it's worked out for you. And it's good. Like, you haven't lost any faith on your team. And you made the right decisions as well. So keep it up, bro. Keep it up. It's honestly working out for you. Dallas, you better watch out, bro. You better watch out. Joseph has been on my neck. So when I say he can be on your neck, he can be on your neck. And I think the beauty of the league, as you can see, is like the points between us is all so close, like that 3rd position tied in there with Marcel, Oscar, Yusuf used to be at the top as well. You're doing really well, man, to actually maintain that as well. Honestly, you guys are a pest who are on top of me, and the rest of you guys as well who are behind me. You guys are pestering me. So really good, really exciting. But we're all very close, with Killer Squad at number 3, tied at 618. You can see right below us at number 5, team name is still updating. I'm still looking for it. He's climbed up 5 points, come out of nowhere, 2 points behind me. Man, well done, dog. Well done. Honestly, welcome to the top 10. I cannot remember mentioning your name, but welcome to the top 10. And we're going to be looking out for you. Pedro Porridge, he stirred up his porridge a bit too much. He's left it cold. He's dropped down a couple of places, but not to despair, my man. Like I said, we're all very close. As you can see, between 3 and your position, we're only 3 points away. And Stingers FC, not having much of a sting this week, but tied in there with Pedro Porridge at number 6. And then we also got Morgan Sniffs White, who has not been sniffing the right white things. And he's dropped down to number 8 there with 612. Again, this table could look so different in the next game week. And then slot them away, not slotting them away, but maintaining that position around the 10th, 9th spot, just keeping himself in the top 10. He's another one to definitely watch out, because he's definitely a good manager. He's proven it to me over the time as well. So guys, watch out. I think any of us right now in that top 9 is really doing well. I got me new shoes, son. Come on, son. You slipping, son. You slipping, son. You're slipping. You're in and out of the 10 spot there. You're in and out of the 10 spot. I used to mention your name up there, number 5, man. Number 5. And I say this because the gap starts to widen a bit there by you at 590 to 604. But still early days. So don't worry, gents. Yeah, so don't worry. With my team just going through it, thinking about my game week 11 and what I'm going to do. I've removed Haaland for Cunha. I am considering of taking a hit. I've seen you guys be taking hits there, and it's not necessarily because you're taking a hit, but it's because of the players that I really want to try and capitalize on the points and get points as well. I really need to get those. I really need to get some points and get some green arrows behind me as well. And I'm hoping those hits could pay off. It's also just because, quite frankly, players like Calvert-Lewin in my team, I don't really think are doing anything, as well as Bernardo Silva. So they are players who I'm really looking to take out. Vardy's been returning well for me. That's really great. Semenyo's 10 points really hurt me on the bench, but I was never thinking of putting him in. It was always a debate between him and Rogers got that 10, but don't know why I didn't think just bringing him in besides Bernardo, knowing Bernardo's not actually the best of assets and how Man City's been performing. So Buemo not performing for all of us, but I mean, he was definitely going to have his week in and week out. This was his week out. Ignori, look, he has had his week. This is his week out as well. And we're hoping that Arsenal's defense can start taking a turn now. Konate is fine. He did play in the Champions League. He was flagged, but he had a very good game. Got even taken off just round about the 87th minute mark. So yeah, Ray doing it good for us at 3 points for the game. But Fabianski's proven that he has got some game time in him as well. So I think that I might be playing him for the next game week as well. So yeah, really hoping that he can come through for us, because he's playing against Everton, and watch Calvert-Lewin if he can punish me just for playing Fabianski and probably taking him out as well. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. As I mentioned before, please hit that like button if you're really loving the content as well. Make sure that you do subscribe and really help the channel, help build the channel and build the community. The link code is in the description below. A lot of the content that I've used is from Fantasy Football Hub. They've got 30% off with the 7-day free trial. So make sure you check that out, and I will check you guys out in the next video. Peace.